Hola coolers, and welcome back to the channel, guys. I know it's been a minute since I uploaded, but it's been a combination of both Barca's transfer window ending quietly and the fact that I've been on the road. I've been on the road for a few days. I had to travel to the eastern part of the country for the burial of a colleague's wife, so rest in peace to her. But what an exciting way to come back with another video on the channel today, guys, because we have continued our perfect start to the La Liga season, thumping Real Valladolid 7-0 on their visit to the Montjuic on Saturday. It was yet another impressive performance from Barca, flying out of the blocks early on against Valladolid, just as Hansi Flick has demanded in his pre-match press conference, because he was asked in his pre-match press conference ahead of the game against Valladolid what he would like his team to improve upon, and he said that he would prefer his team to come out flying out of the blocks from the very first minute of the game and not waiting until the second half before entering into top gear. If there's one thing we have learned from the first 3 games of Hansi Flick's era in charge of Barca in La Liga, is the fact that Barca have won all the previous 3 games with a scoreline of 2-1. So the first 3 games ended 2-1, and there was a familiar pattern that we noticed in all the 3 games as well. It was the fact that even though in some games Barca had a decent first half, the second half was way better than the first half. But that was clearly not the case earlier on Saturday against Valladolid, because as Hansi Flick demanded that the boys started brightly, the boys did just that on Saturday against Valladolid, because they came out flying out of the blocks and they ran into a 3-goal lead in the first half. Barca were dominant from start to finish, and I know it was just only Valladolid. Valladolid are not the most difficult or the most daunting opponent to come up against in La Liga, but we have faced them previously and we did not have impressive performances like the one we had earlier on Saturday, bro. Barca were completely dominant from start to finish. Every part of the team, they were in cohesion. The whole team played as a unit. You could see the synergy between the players there. Barca were rocking, bro. It was a party atmosphere at the Montjuic, and the Montjuic, we know it is not always the atmosphere we expect from a home game, but I think if you remember the game against Athletic Club and what we also saw against Valladolid, the fans were way better than they have been all throughout last season, bro. So this is credit to them, because the fans have been making Montjuic a better home atmosphere for Barca. And due to the unfortunate injury to Marc-Andre, there were a lot of questions of whether who was going to replace Bernal in Barca's midfield. But even in that same pre-match press conference, Hansi Flick made mention of the fact that he was delighted to have Marc Casado and Eric Garcia in that position while we wait on the return of the likes of Gavi and Frankie de Jong to come into that midfield. These are guys that can do the job, and naming his starting lineup on Saturday, Hansi Flick gave Marc Casado the start in that double pivot role alongside Pedri. Elsewhere, it was Ter Stegen in goal, of course, as expected. Koundé at right back. Kubasi and Inigo Martinez continued their blossoming partnership at centre half, and Balde returned ahead of Gerard Martin at left back. In midfield, like I mentioned earlier, Casado started in the double pivot alongside Pedri, and Lamine Yamal once again started on the right wing. But Dani Olmo had his first start in the Barca shirt on Saturday against Valladolid as well, and Rafinha played on the left, with Lewandowski the obvious choice as the lone centre forward. But he didn't play like a lone centre forward, because we could see all through the game that the likes of Lamine Yamal, Dani Olmo and Rafinha, they were all tucking in and making the Valladolid penalty area a very clustered area with a lot of runners in behind. And if there's one thing that also came to the fore with Barca's performance against Valladolid, it is the newfound verticality, directness and dynamism that we have seen introduced by Hansi Flick during his time as the Barca coach, because we saw a lot of runs in behind, and that is exactly how the first 2 goals came about, because Pau Kubasi, once again, what a masterclass of playing out from the back from the youngster. He was the one that picked out Rafinha's run, and he played the ball over the top of the Valladolid defense, with Rafinha running onto it, and then brilliant control by Rafinha. He was close by the defender, but he kept his cool and he finished expertly past the goalkeeper. And we saw a similar move as well when Lamine Yamal, I think we don't speak about the playmaking abilities of this kid enough, bro. The kind of passes and the kind of chances that Lamine Yamal has been creating, these are Messi-esque moves, bro. He plays like a young Messi. He plays, I don't want to burden this guy, I don't want to burden this kid with the expectations or the comparisons with Messi, but the passes, the way Lamine Yamal is making these passes a trademark thing in his game, bro. It is only a matter of time before those comparisons are definitely going to come to the fore. Once again, we saw the creative side of Lamine Yamal once again. When I saw that pass I'm sure, just like the Valladolid defenders, they thought Lewandowski was offside as well. But Lewandowski was not offside. Lamine Yamal picked out the pass perfectly when he cut in from the right wing and he laid the pass over the top of the Valladolid defense, left Lewandowski one-on-one with the goalkeeper. And to be honest, it wasn't the cleanest of strikes or the cleanest of finishes from Lewandowski, but he did just enough to find the bottom of the net, and it was 2-0 to Barca, and Barca made it 3-0 before halftime. This time around, Koundé, despite his impressive performance on the other side of the pitch as a right back, he contained the left winger of Valladolid very well. But I think the headlines for him today has to be the goal, bro, because Koundé has been impressive. We have been praising Koundé's performances defensively as a right back all through this season. But also congratulations to Jules Koundé. He scored Barca's third just before halftime from the Rafinha corner. Koundé picked up the loose ball in the penalty area and he slammed it into the roof of the goal for 3-0 Barca, and Barca were flying, bro. At halftime, it was 3-0. I can't remember the last time I enjoyed a Barca half of football like I enjoyed Barca's game against Valladolid on Saturday, because it has been a long time coming, bro. It has been a long time since Barca played like they did on Saturday, guys. These are very promising times for us in this Hansi Flick era. And if there's one thing that the German has also introduced to Barca, it is that German mentality of never being satisfied and wanting more, bro. In the second half, previously, I think most of previous Barcelona teams in the past, they will likely sit back and just take their foot off the gas and sit on a 3-0 lead, which was a very comfortable lead, to be honest, playing at home as well. Just before an international break, it is expected that Barca would usually sit back. But it was the opposite of it, bro. In the second half, Barca came out flying out of the blocks as well. Hansi Flick has said a lot about getting a complete performance from his team, and I'm sure that he would have been excited with what he saw out on the pitch today. But even at 7-0, bro, his facial expression was still giving up the fact that Hansi Flick still wanted more. You could see that he still wanted more. He wasn't just smiling or sharing laughs on the touchline. Hansi Flick still kept a very focused look. He was very serious, even after Barca stormed to a 7-0 lead, bro. Man, this is the kind of mentality that I like, and this is the kind of mentality that Hansi Flick seems to be gradually bringing to Barca. In the second half, we saw Barca still pushing for more goals. It could easily have been 10-0, bro, because Barca even hit the post. Barca hit the woodwork 3 times from Lewandowski and Dani Olmo. So it was relentless from Barca on Saturday, guys. And I'm really surprised and impressed with the start that Barca has made in this season under Hansi Flick. And one of the players that has been the standout, or one of the standout players in this Barca team, has to be Rafinha, bro. This guy deserves his flowers. I know he has gotten a lot of flack from Barca fans in the past. Well, myself, I've given him my fair share of slack as well personally, but I think Rafinha is one player that I know that a lot of Barca fans have been throwing dirt on his name in the past. Rafinha is one player that always gives 100%. He always lifts his heart on the pitch whenever he wears the Barca shirt, and I'm glad that he's beginning to get the respect that he deserves from the fan base, bro, because in the second half, Rafinha added 2 further goals to the one he scored in the first half. First of all, he picked up a loose ball in the penalty area and tapped into an empty net to make it 4-0, and then the magical goal came, bro, because once again, we saw the verticality that we've been talking about that Hansi Flick has brought to Barca, the directness that Hansi Flick has brought to Barca, the dynamism that Hansi Flick has introduced to Barca, because it was a Valladolid corner, bro, leading at 4-0. Valladolid had a corner and Barca had to be the defending team. And once they crossed the corner, the ball broke to Lamine Yamal on the edge of the penalty area. And bro, you can't blame me when I say the way Lamine Yamal has been creating chances, it is Messi-esque, bro. He plays like Messi when he's trying to create chances. Lamine Yamal did it all by himself. He ran almost the length of the pitch from the edge of the penalty area while defending the Valladolid corner. Lamine Yamal launched a rapid counter-attack by himself, bro. Bro, this kid is not regular. Lamine Yamal is not your regular 17-year-old or your regular teenager. This guy is a gem. This guy is special. This is a player that can mark a whole era in football. And he continues to show it week in, week out, whether putting on the Barca shirt or wearing the national team jersey for Spain. Lamine Yamal launched the counter-attack by himself. He pulled all the Valladolid players that were trying to recover by himself. And it was a masterful pass once again. Rafinha making the overlapping run. Those runs in behind the defense, it's not something that we've seen from Barca so much in the past or in recent years, but it is something that we are beginning to see consistently during these first few games of the Hansi Flick era. Lamine Yamal picked up Rafinha brilliantly and he slotted in between the goalkeeper's legs to complete the first professional hat-trick of his career. So congratulations to Rafinha, bro. This guy deserves all the plaudits that he's getting for his performances this season. This is a guy that most of the fans didn't even believe that he had a role in Barca. He was a player that was linked with an exit when Barca were trying to offload players and raise money. Man, with the performances that he's playing, I think the apology should be as loud as the disrespect, bro. And once again, Dani Olmo making it 6-0. What an impact Dani Olmo has had in his short time as a Barca player so far. Against Real Valladolid in midweek, he came in at halftime. He was the difference. He was the game changer. He was the difference maker. He was the match winner. He scored a brilliant goal to win the game in just 45 minutes against Real Vallecano. And you could tell that Barca did not make a mistake bringing Olmo to the club, guys. Dani Olmo is a game changer for Barca. With the way he plays in that number 10 role, he's a player that makes Barca tick. He could have easily had a hat-trick against Valladolid as well. But unfortunately, it wasn't to be. But 7 goals against Valladolid, that's still enough. And just before being substituted, Dani Olmo made it 6-0 for Barca with another beautiful goal. Dani Olmo is a gem, and I know that he's going to continue to do more. All those people that were talking down on him and all those people that were saying that Barca do not need him, a lot of people, even on my channel, a lot of people were criticizing Barca's signing of Dani Olmo as a waste of money, guys. I believe that right now, I know it's early days, it's just 2 games into his Barca career, but if Dani Olmo continues the way that he has started so far, all of the naysayers are definitely going to eat their words, guys. But then again, there was still time for a 7th. Ferran Torres coming in to give Lewandowski a rest. He was the one on the end of a brilliant and delightful cross from Rafinha. Once again, Rafinha was all over the pitch, guys. This guy is a workhorse. This is the white card. This is Hansi Flick's white card so far. Rafinha is a cheat code for Hansi Flick, bro. Rafinha laid on an expert cross for Ferran Torres to latch onto it, and he slotted Barca's 7th. And Montjuic was rocking. The stadium was rocking, guys. It was a party atmosphere in the stadium, and I'm sure a lot of Barca fans will be very excited with what they have seen so far. Yet again, we have won 4 games, 4 wins in La Liga so far, top of the table, maximum 12 points gotten. What a way to start the season. I'm sure the fans wouldn't have asked for a better start to the season, guys. In the first 3 games, we saw some signs of what to expect from Hansi Flick's Barca. Even though the performances were very great, the results suggested a similar pattern of 2-1 wins, whereby Barca were much more superior in the second half of all 3 games. But in this 4th game against Valladolid, it is where Barca turned on the style, guys, because Barca were super brilliant. The whole team, the performances from all around the team, everybody was just brilliant. And Rafinha, deservedly, he was named the man of the match for the game for his hat-trick and the assist he also laid for Ferran Torres. And I hope that he continues like this. And I'm also glad that some of the players were also given a rest. We saw Pedri substituted just over the hour mark to give him a rest because he goes away with Spain for the international break, of course. We also saw Lewandowski giving a rest as well. Casado, he was also substituted and replaced by Eric. And this is a very smart move from Hansi Flick because with Bernat out for the rest of the season, it is important to use these players with some sense because you don't want to overload these young kids with a lot of minutes, and by any opportunity you get, it is important that you give them a rest because it is going to be a long season ahead. Nobody knows what the situation with Frankie de Jong is at this point. His injury, he has been out for a whole 4 months and he has still not returned to peak condition, bro. So it is really difficult at this point. Midfield seems to be the area where Barca has the most depth if everybody is fit, but right now it is a very fragile position due to the injuries that Barca are suffering in that position. So it was really nice to see some players getting a rest as well. And I'm also happy for Ferran Torres because even though he has received a lot of flack this season, the goal against Valladolid definitely should help his confidence and also make him, hopefully his performances are going to improve as the season goes on because the transfer window is over, guys. Ferran Torres is going nowhere. Ferran Torres is here to stay at least until the January transfer window opens. So first of all, we have to support him and hope that he recovers his best version as well. And I'm also happy for Lamine Yamal because even though he didn't score against Valladolid, even though Barca scored 7 goals, Lamine Yamal was the creator-in-chief for Barca, guys. And his playmaking has been on full display this season. In his last 8 games for club and country, Lamine Yamal has contributed a goal or an assist, and what a start he has had to the season under Hansi Flick, because in all of the games he has played so far, he has also had a goal contribution. At Mestalla against Valencia, he was the one that set up the equalizer for Lewandowski. In the game against Athletic Club, he scored the opening goal for Barca. In the midweek win at Real Valladolid, he set up the important winner for Dani Olmo. And yet again, it was another masterclass of creative football from Lamine Yamal against Real Valladolid, because he laid on 2 assists. First of all for Lewandowski, and secondly, he laid that masterpiece of an assist for Rafinha's hat-trick. So what a performance that this young kid is having, bro. I'm really hoping and looking forward to when most of the other injured players come back, because Hansi Flick's Barca are cooking, guys. Hansi Flick Barca are cooking. But right now, unfortunately, we have to go on the international break. And Barca, I'm really hoping, because traditionally we tend to struggle after international breaks. And this time around, the Champions League is going to be returning after the international break as well. On Thursday, we saw the draws being made in Monaco. A mouth-watering draw as well, because the Champions League has changed this time around. We have a new league phase group stages that we are going to be seeing 36 teams now. I think it's quite confusing for a lot of fans. The new format is quite confusing for a lot of fans and strange. Personally, for myself, I think I found it confusing as well, but I can't deny the fact that it's going to offer some interesting matchups, and we discovered our opponents for this season's Champions League group stage league phase on Thursday as well. But what we didn't know was how the games were going to come around, but that is something that we have now found out. And after the international break, Champions League action is going to resume as well, with all the fixtures and the sequence for those fixtures being confirmed as well. And Barca will be starting out with a visit to Monaco. Monaco, remember, they beat us very, very convincingly in the Gamper Trophy game. It is going to be a rematch, albeit on a more competitive ground this time around. Barca will be facing Monaco in our opening Champions League game, after which we are going to have back-to-back home games at the Montjuic against Young Boys and Bayern Munich, before we now travel to Belgrade to face Red Star Belgrade, and then we are going to host Brest at home once again, before back-to-back away games against Dortmund and Benfica, and we shall be rounding up the group stages with a home game against Atalanta. So the fixtures have been arranged. The schedule is also clearly spelled out as well, and with the way Barca have been playing in the league, of course, we shall be hoping that Barca are going to repeat the trick in the Champions League. Those Champions League games, of course, they offer us some reunions as well, because Hansi Flick will be facing his old side Bayern Munich, and Lewandowski as well will also be facing 2 of his former clubs in Bayern Munich and Borussia Dortmund. So the group stages, of course, offer some reunion. And Dani Olmo as well, don't forget, he's not a former Bayern Munich player, but he's a player that has had a very good record against Bayern Munich while playing for RB Leipzig in the Bundesliga. So these are some exciting games to look forward to, and with the way Barca are cooking under Hansi Flick, it will be very exciting to see how Barca are going to transform their domestic form onto the European stage when the Champions League comes around after the international break. So guys, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below, guys. What do you make of Barca's electric start to the season under the auspices of Hansi Flick? But let me know all of your thoughts in the comment section down below, guys. I'll also be dropping an explanation of the new Champions League format. All of that, I'll also be dropping that in the comment section down below. So if you want to check it out, better do check it out in the comment section down below, guys. Let me know who was your man of the match in that 7-0 thumping of Valladolid as well, and what do you expect from Barca after the international break. So I will see you guys on the next video, but until next time, as always, Visca El Barça. Adios.